Hi first grade, welcome to day 3 of Meg and Jim's sled trip. We're going to do some word chains. What I want you to do is start at the top of the list and we're going to go through and sound out each of the sounds. Ready? Here we go. B, a, m, p, bump. Now you try. Next one. J, a, m, p, jump. Now you try. P, jump. Next one, go. D, a, m, p, dump. Now you try. Next one, ready, go. D, a, m, p, damp. Now you try. Try the rest of these words by yourselves. Ready? Give it a pause, and you can give them a go. Let's talk about some comprehension questions to try and understand the story better. So, after each of these questions, I want you to pause and talk with a buddy and discuss with them what you think the clues are that you worked it out. So here's the first one. What do the kids want to do? Pause, talk about the clues. If you said something like, the kids really want to go sledding, and my clues were that they were excited and that they were looking outside at the snow and they were calling it a blanket of snow and that the expressions on their faces were excited, then you would be correct. Let's try this one. How can you tell they're excited? Pause the video. If you said something like, because of their faces, because of their body language, because of them wanting to go out in the snow and their excitement, then you would be correct. Here's the next one. What part of the trip was most exciting for them? So, when they got back inside and they were telling their mom and dad about the trip, what do you think they talked about? What part do you think was most exciting? Pause the video. If you said where they went over the snowdrift and they bumped, then you're probably correct. If you were talking about an exciting trip, the part that you would want to talk about would be the most exciting part first, and then you might tell about the next exciting thing, and it would go in order from most exciting to least exciting. What about this? What clues tell you that they've sledded a lot? This might be a trickier one, but I want you to think back through the story and think, how do I know that they've done this a few times? Pause the video. If you said something like this, because they knew how to pull their sled up, they knew to zigzag it to get it up there quick, they put their coats and wet clothes on the rack, they came inside and knew where to put their things, like on the pegs, then you'd be correct. There are lots of other clues that show you that they've done this before too. Today let's look and see if we can see something different in these words. You may notice that there are patterns to these words. So at the end of each of these words you may notice something. Pause the video and see if you notice anything in these words that connects or has patterns. Ready? Go. Here's what you may have noticed. At the end of each word, many words, there is a s sound. Sometimes when we're readers, we don't see these, but it's really important to make sure we point out the sounds and say each sound as you see it in a word. The other thing is there are connections in each of these words where there is a word ending. So I'm going to put up the top word endings, because it's almost like we found out what the main thing was about the connections between these words at the end. So word endings, we've got bumps, jumps, and dumps. They all have at the end of them. So there's this sound right here. This one is one all by itself. It has the sound NK, nk. These two words are connected because they both have ND, nd. These two words are connected because they both have FT, ft. These three words are connected because they all have k, k, k in them. And finally, this is one by itself, but it's a little bit connected to this because it has NT, nt. Now my board looks messy. That's okay. Let's talk about the theme of the story. If there was a message that you think the author of this story was trying to portray to you, what do you think that message might be? What do you think the lesson was that they may have been trying to teach you? I want you to use your imagination and use the clues to think, I wonder what it was that they were trying to tell me. Now, when we think about theme, we need to think about this. What are things that keep popping up in the story that we might say, hey, that's kind of the same, like enjoyment, or excitement, or how they feel about things? Pause for a second and talk about what you think the theme of this story might be. Now that you've paused, I want you to do this. Listen carefully as I talk about what I think the theme might be. I noticed that the theme of the story, I think, was all about enjoying yourself in wintertime. And I noticed that there were clues in the story all the way through, like being excited about the snow day, going out and telling the story after they were finished, the excitement even though something maybe scary kind of happened. There were lots of things that showed that there was an excitement for winter and excitement even though it was cold. So I think the message of the story is that you can have fun even when it's freezing cold and even when it snows. You can get to enjoy things that maybe you don't think you can get to enjoy. Let's talk about splitting up the different characters in the story and talking about who are the main characters and who are the other characters. So, tell me who you think the main characters would be. Why do you think those people are the main characters? What makes them the main characters? What are some clues that you get that they're the main characters? Then talk about some other characters who are not mentioned quite as much in the story. Why are they other characters? Finally, let's talk about the setting of the story. Where do we think the story takes place? What words could you use to describe how the story is taking place in different places? Or in the same place? So, let's go through that and do that now. The main characters in the story are Meg and Jim. And the reason for that, the clues that we get about that is because that's the name of the story. And also they're on almost every page. They're on every page. Other characters in the story are their parents. They're not on as many pages and they don't say quite as much. The setting of the story, this is where we could give lots of details. We could say the setting is at a house. The setting is also out in the country. Now, when the setting is really important too. The setting is at wintertime. Another thing we could say is the setting is at daytime. Are there any other words that you would add to that to talk about the setting? Are there any other characters that you would add? Have a think for yourself, and you can add those to the list, or you can think about those for yourself. Okay, it's time for you to go and enjoy your first reading of Meg and Jim's Sled Trip by yourself on the website. Go to the Flyleaf website, and you can read through that now. And after you're done, I want you to be thinking, did I notice some of those things that we were focusing on today? Happy reading!